So on December 5th, 2013 at 12:27 p.m., me and three of my closest friends were on our way for Dairy Queen in White City, and while crossing the highway we were T-boned by a semi. It was traumatizing because in the few minutes before the crash, we were all happy, thinking nothing bad's gonna happen, nothing will happen to us, and then the moment of turning and seeing the grill of an international semi feet away from you, knowing that it's not going to stop in time, hearing two of your best friends screaming, and then as you hear the crunch and crippling of steel, hearing the screaming stop from your one friend that was behind you, and seeing shatters of glass flying in front of you, and the windshield in front of you shattered from your other friend that was beside you at the time, and just seeing everything covered in blood, and when you stop, a cab of a truck being filled with smoke and exhaust and not knowing where it's coming from, and turning behind you to see, instead of your best friend, blood and crumpled steel, not knowing where she was, it's enough to destroy you. And then looking out and seeing people running towards you, and when you finally get out of the truck, hearing people saying that they thought you were dead, it's enough to destroy your life and change your life in ways that aren't imaginable. My driving has changed a lot, or even if I'm riding in a vehicle, if I'm going past intersections where I see someone creeping up, I get really nervous and I'll be a lot more attentive, as well as even to the point where if I see a red Manitoulin semi with two Super Bs, I just get nervous because that's what hit us. Or if there's a semi near us that someone's driving in a way that kind of a quick motion or something, that if there's a semi near me, it can give me a panic attack, or someone trying to shoot across the highway in too small of a gap and stuff along those lines can give me a panic attack, just because I have both the horror and the privilege of I remember every second of my crash. So I know the sounds you'll hear, the broken glass flying in front of you, and just all the smells and effects that crash can have and what it can do to your life. I'm more careful. I know now that my next day on earth is never guaranteed, that it can be taken from me at any moment, that the people around me can be taken at any moment, and to not take anything I have or anything I've done or anything I'm planning on doing for granted, because I don't know if it'll ever actually happen, if I'll ever get to do what I plan on doing, or if I'll ever have that next day, or if my life could be cut short. So it puts you in a perspective of your life is not always in your control, and that you should live your life to the fullest and do as much as you can to make change while you are alive. The school community council here a few years ago decided to launch a project to change the highways because we've had so many deaths here. At one point, every 2 years, a student from this school would have been killed on the highway. So what happened was the SCC and the principals and some of the elementary schools that feed the high school all thought that it would be an amazing effort to get behind and try to change the highway. So we held meetings here at the school every couple weeks for a few months to get input from the people in the community of what they want done. We started petitions to get signage, lights, and speed limit reduced along the entire length of the highway from Balgonie to Regina until the overpasses can be built. And we even went as far as actually holding a rally in front of the legislative to draw more attention to the issue. Everybody knows each other basically, and everybody can recognize almost everyone. So if one person is missing, it basically leaves holes in the entire community. It makes lots of us angry, although they're not admitting to it being directly linked to us. We are seeing changes along the highway. We asked for better signage to indicate that there's acceleration lanes, and magically when we ask for that, they magically appear. Or we now have signs that say high collision corridor, or there's lots of different signages and speed limit changes in the photo radar, which the government say they don't necessarily acknowledge that we were petitioning and asking for that, but at the same time they're not giving solid explanations for why they just magically appeared. I want them to take into consideration the effects that putting something off and saying something is coming in so many years that can wait for the change. No, it can't, because in so many years so many more people can die, and then they'll sit there and they can say that, well, the fix is coming, it doesn't need attention, when it does.